So it's 8 a.m. I usually wake up a bit earlier than this, but this is still a good wake up time. And one of the number one things that I've done to combat like the anxiety of being a creative and working for myself and what am I going to do today and am I going to get that done or this done and yada, 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 is this right here. Huge difference. I wake up in the morning, grab my marker. I normally grab like a Greek yogurt or something. I'm halfway through this one. That's normally by the time I make it here. It's right beside my desk, on my wall. Put the date, so it's 10/24/25, right? And then I put one box here, and you see a line where it says today's priority and tasks. And the reason why there's a line is because there can only be one priority. I saw this from Alex Hormozi. Dude just made $100 million in one day. My goal in my lifetime is 100 million. So, hey, but he made a huge point about, you know, how we look at priorities different. Like the minute you say priorities plural, you're losing the plot. And that made a lot of sense for me because I always struggle to prioritize because I'm struggling to think like, should I put this one first? Is that one like, you know, these three things? It's like, no, one thing. What's the one thing that you need to get done in the day? And the next thing that I like to use to help decide what that one thing is too, Kevin O'Leary talks about how everything that you do in the day is basically signal or noise, right? He's not the only one who talked about it, but he mentioned how Steve Jobs used to basically have 80% signal and 20% noise. And signal is the activities that like, yo, designing the iPod, designing the Mac, like this stuff has to happen. And then noise is the things that, signal that has to happen. Signal is stuff that has to happen to push the needle forward. And then noise is the stuff that has to happen. Like noise is like brushing your teeth, having dinner. You know what I mean? Like it's not unimportant things, but it's all these different things that kind of like everybody's doing that we kind of like have to do. But it's not on any specific frequency. It's just needs and stuff like that, which I'm not trying to minimize that, but realistically, what you ate for dinner today isn't gonna be signal unless you're a bodybuilder, you know what I mean? And that's your goal. But for me, it doesn't fucking matter. So yeah, picked one thing, priority, and then I put 3 more squares here. The marker's drying up. Put 3 more squares here, and I choose task. Usually something that I didn't get to do yesterday, or you know, something where it's like, yo, if I were able to get it done today, it would be nice. So a lot of the times, this would be stuff like start something, right? Like the priority would be something like finish something, and this would be like start something. So today's priority is I have a shoot at 4, right? Photo shoot at 4 p.m. in Manhattan. I'm not gonna put the client's name, and the reason why this is a priority is because I got paid for this, right? However, that doesn't mean that my task might not be what I want to do more. And then another one of my tasks is make sample at nowadays, right? So I gotta make a sample at nowadays, and then I also, same day, is photo shoot for ENFRAMED 8 p.m. And then, what's another task I could get done today that would be nice? Ooh, I could get a haircut today. I was supposed to get a haircut a couple days ago, but I've just been procrastinating. Sometimes I don't know the third task, so I'll think about that. I'm thinking about a couple things that I could do right now. Anyways, the point is, this board, even though I'm gonna leave today, the minute that I've written it down, and I know you can do this on like a notebook, but it's like, I'm gonna wipe this off every day. It's more reusable. And I just feel like you could forget about the notebook. You're not gonna forget about this fat board in the middle of the office. Garbage truck. You're not gonna forget about this huge board in the middle of the office. And I've been doing it for the last, basically this month. And it's been amazing. It's been really, really good. So I hope that helps you out. It's like 20 bucks on Amazon, 30, you feel me? The size of this one is 36 by 24. So this is 36 inches wide, 24 inches tall. You feel me? And then the next thing, so this is the morning side of how I absolutely destroy any form of anxiety. But as a creative, one of the main things you're doing like throughout the day is thinking a lot. You're thinking so much. Like Like you're thinking about new things you could have done. You're thinking about stuff you could have done better. You're thinking about if somebody who did something creative, you're like, damn, was that good? Maybe I should do something like that. Or maybe I could do that better. Or maybe that should be inspiration. You're thinking about so many different things. I don't think anybody is thinking at the amount and pace and like quantity and like difference of different like topics as much as a creative person is. And we don't really think about that. We don't really think about that bandwidth or that cache getting like filled up. And I'm going to show you the number one thing that I do to empty that cache on a day-to-day basis. I got it. I got the third task. I walked away and I thought about it. Start editing this YouTube video. So the date's on there. If you see this video in a timely manner, you know that this board helps. There you go. Let's show you the second thing. So yeah, this is where I sleep. Around when I go to sleep is when I do this next habit that completely destroys anxiety as a creative. And it's right here, right? You'll see these two notebooks right here. One's a brand new one that I'm waiting to get into because this one is almost done. I've had this book for about 3 years now because I didn't always journal in this book, but I've definitely been using it now. And I know majority of my audience is men, and I know I'm not the first person to, say to journal and stuff like that. And I'm telling you, bro, like if you're a man, because here's the thing. The first time journaling became a thing, it sounded all cute and stuff like that. But I think men need that more than women, not to get all gendery. But it's like girls write about in their journal and they write all these things and stuff like that. And they write the things they might not be able to say to like their friends or whatever. I don't really know what they write in their journal. But at the end of the day, they still might have a friend, or if they break down and they're like, oh, you know what, I can't write about this anymore, or I can't hold this in anymore, right? It's okay. While if you do that as a dude, good luck. You know what I mean? I don't make the rules, bro. I just learn the game. You feel me? I'm not the referee. I'm just the coach, dog. You feel me? So you can argue about that in the comments or whatever. I don't care. But I'll tell you right now, as a really hard man, as a bad man, as a man where go in the jungle and the concrete and the zinc, I'm telling you, bro, that balling thing in front of you, feel me? That's not gonna go, bro. So it's up to you as a man to be 10 toes, sturdy. You feel me? Not only on an emotional front, but also on a logical, like, ideology front too, basically. You feel me? When I say ideology, I don't mean like the definition. I mean like logical and the idea version of logical, which I guess is the same thing. But anyways, basically just, having your thoughts out, right? Because if you're able to have this dialogue with yourself, your thoughts are more clear. You're able to enunciate yourself better when you want to say something because you probably said it to yourself already. You're able to be more confident when you want to say something because, like, yo, I've fleshed this out in my mind. This is my stance. This is who I am. This is what I stand on. Boom. This is what my take is. You feel me? And then at the end of the night, you might get some good ideas from this. Like, so much stuff can happen from this. And then you're going to bed with a blank slate. Like, there's no rules of what you write. You just open a paper. I normally keep it to one page, right? And you just write. So sometimes it's the first thing. Sometimes the first thing I write is, today was a good day. And then normally after writing that, I'll get prompted onto why today was a good day. But you know what I mean? Like, pages. In the first pages of this is how I came to the logo of ENFRAMED, right? In the first couple of pages of this is how I came to the logo of ENFRAMED, right? This is 2024. And around this time last year, I was going through one of the hardest times of my life. I didn't know where I was going to be. I barely knew where I was going to be sleeping the next month. I was, in a room situation with strangers and stuff like that. Y'all can even go see the videos of those. But I was going through the hardest time of my life, honestly. And now I'm in this room that is surrounded by my brother's art. This bed is comfortable as shit. I got my little what's it called, and it's like, I process million dollar ideas in this room, and I get energized and rejuvenated and blessed to wake up the next day and charge of those ideas. And this book is how I empty the cache of the noise of the things that happened in the day that did matter, but don't matter that much to the overall, like, grand scheme of things. And sometimes I write about something and I'm like, and I wake up the next day and I was like, that didn't even matter. And then sometimes I write about something and when it's the third or fifth time about me writing about it, I'm like, oh yeah, I should remember that this doesn't serve me, or that this isn't signal or whatever it is. You feel me? It's your rules, it's your book. I can 100% see the difference of when I'm journaling versus when I'm not journaling. If it's either you're journaling or you're spiraling, right? Because when you're journaling, you basically have it's like you have a emptier SSD card, which is your brain, and everything loads fast and boots fast. But when you haven't journaled in a while, you just have all this like all this mud, all this like scribbly lines in your brain, and you don't know what's going on because there's just all these ideas and thoughts that you're just bottling up and not getting out.